Hello, and I am back with another video. As promised, I'm going to go over my surgical experience with body contouring. And the surgical procedure that I had done was a BBL with a lipo 360, and I have my done at GOALS Plastic Surgery in Atlanta. Dr. Z was my doctor, and I was super excited about Dr. Z being my doctor because another YouTuber who vlogged their BBL journey named KKS Vision 101, like she had the same doctor and I liked her results. Y'all check her out, look at her videos and whatnot. um yeah, so I was like really thrilled with her results, and then we had the same doctor, so I was excited. But let me just go into first. I'm gonna go head into talking about my BBL journey from start to finish. So this is gonna be broken up in different parts, so it doesn't seem like I'm rambling over and over. But I'm just gonna start with why I actually got why I actually got my BBL done. I have always been really small framed in my life. I've always had a small, like, athletic build, but I've never really had like full hips, breasts, but none of that. Okay. Even with getting pregnant and having my kids, it's like right after I had my son, I was really filled out like around my hips and thighs area, but after like the baby weight, it kind of fell off. It all fell off. And then with my daughter, it was kind of the same thing. So my fat distribution really only went to where I gained the most weight at, and where my skin was really stretched out, which was in my belly. So yeah, so when that was left, I started to gain weight just in my belly, so it really didn't help me have no kind of curvature. As of today, well, actually starting tomorrow, I'll be a full month since my actual, no, I will be 3 weeks post-op from my procedure fully starting tomorrow. But yeah, I gotta lay down to record this video because standing up all the time is not what's up, man. I can't sit on my butt. I don't care what they say about having that BBL chair cushion thing. Like, nah, man, I'm tired. But yeah, so starting off, me and my homegirl, we was sitting down, we was talking one day, and we was talking about getting our bodies done. And she was like, well, shoot, and instead of us talking about it, let's be about it. Let's at least take the first step to see what we can have done, right? So we took pictures of each other's body and we sent it in to get our consultation. We sent it to Mia Aesthetics, and we sent it to GOALS. Mia Aesthetics charged, like, starting out price was $10,000. Excuse me, y'all. I'm writing. I took some notes over everything too, and that was too much. So I just waited around a little bit, and then GOALS called me, and GOALS gave me a price that was more in my range, and my full total of everything was $7,800, and that included 2 fries, like your stage 1 and stage 2 fries, 10 post-op massages, 2 creams for your post-op body to help with like pain and stuff like that. So it was arnica and hemp green, a BBL seat, a fiber high fabric cleaner, and I think there was some wound care spray in there, but I don't know. But then you get the 2 memory foams, for like high foams for your sides, and then you get the board for your front, and that was included all in my package, right? So, and it was like affordable, more local. I didn't want to pick anywhere that was like cheaper, like Miami, that would be kind of like far away, because I feel like you're gonna end up spending all that money back in hotel stays and airplane flights and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to go somewhere local, and that was the most localist to me. At the time, I did live in Georgia when I booked the surgery, but just, it's like after I booked, everything just got crazy. Like my whole life just shuffled around like cards, and I ended up having to leave Georgia and move back to my home state, but that's a whole nother story. But with that $7,800, I did not have care credit. Kudos to those who even qualify for care credit, because even with me working on my credit, I still didn't qualify for care credit. I think student loans is responsible for that. Biden, please help me if you're watching. Because I just can't get that monkey off my back. I just can't, not with all my other bills and stuff. But anyway, so people think that when you have to do a cash payment, that you pay it all up front, and no, you don't have to pay all that money up front. You can still make payments on your procedure as you go. but you have to have a certain amount paid by a certain amount of time. So you would base that off of when you would set your surgery for, you know what I'm saying, based off what you could afford to do. So at the time, I was pretty much in a good situation to where I could, you know, do it sooner than later, like as far as like scheduling it out as far as my payments and everything to get my stuff together. So the thing about that is you have to have the first half of your surgery paid 30 days before your procedure, and then you have to have it paid in full 2 weeks before your surgery date. So when I say 2 weeks, I mean like 15 days, like not including the day of your actual surgery, like 15 days, 2 weeks. So all right, so I did my consultation and everything with them and signed my paperwork. So when you get with them and you done your consultation, you sign your paperwork, you have to do a $500 down payment on your procedure for them, so they can at least hold your surgery date in place. And then, you know, you did like that. So it was $7,800 altogether. So I paid my $500 down, so that took it down to $73. Until I just basically after that I made 2 payments of $36.50, and then it was paid in full. I still had to pay, you know, for hotel stays and stuff like that, but that was after the fact or whatever. But anyway, once you get your paperwork and everything signed, they are going to give you your instructions, your patient info instruction. Please print that out. Make a copy of that so you can look at it, highlight the important parts of it, make sure that you're paying attention to all the details of everything, and follow all the instructions. I repeat, all the instructions. Follow all to the T. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not stressing it because I was just hard-headed and like I didn't have to listen to the instructions at all. It's just that life can get crazy. Like you can have so much other stuff going on in the background that you can't just focus on just getting to your surgery date and BBL journey. And probably that's where I made a mistake at. I probably should have like pushed my surgery date back to let certain things like level out in my life, in my personal life, before I actually had my stuff done. But when, like, I don't know, if you wait till close to the last minute to change your date, they're going to charge you $500 for canceling that visit and rescheduling, okay? Because they looking at like, you know, you costed us money from being able to have somebody else done on time or whatever, cost us money and time. So yeah, but anyway, I wanted to get it done before the summer got here, so that's how I did mine. So my surgery was actually on April the 6th, which I feel crazy for doing it like that because it was like not April the 6th. I started booking my surgery on April the 6th. My procedure was June the 6th of 22, and I was like 666. I was like, okay, wow, why did I do that? But whatever, keep watching. But yeah, don't be no knucklehead like me, and make sure that you read over all the instructions, follow everything to the T, right? After you had your down payment paid and you got all your paperwork signed, all that other stuff, make sure that you ask any questions that you have after you read through the information, and get on top of that as soon as possible so that you can be at ease more when you actually get to your surgery date. Because like having to have surgery done, any kind of surgery done, you're gonna be nervous. So make sure that you have all your questions and concerns, anything that you want to address or ask or whatever about whatever arrangements you want to make. Make sure that you have that out the way before you even have your surgery. Okay, so I was just like, whatever, surgery is chill, I got this. I don't want to worry myself too much about that. I was more worried about making sure I had the money set aside for the date that everything was due to be turned in, than I was focusing on the other stuff about it. Okay, yeah, so I'm hoping that watching this video gives you an opportunity to remind yourself to slow down and, you know, take a breath and keep up with the small details that go on before your surgery, because there are certain instructions and things that you have to do before you have your procedure, right? So yeah, print it out, highlight the important parts, pay special attention, write it on your calendar, set goals, and, you know, whatever. You know, and there's stuff that's in like bold, italicized, and all caps and stuff that is there for a reason. It is just to make everything easier on you. All right. So let's see. All right, so this was a few weeks ago, so give me a second to kind of recall everything that took place. All right, so yeah, so let me get into that. You're gonna have blood work and pre-op clearance, and you have to have that done 30 days before your procedure. That's why I say you gotta pay attention to all the details and stuff, because certain stuff has to be done prior to you having the procedure. You just don't just show up. So let's talk about your blood work. You're gonna have a CMP, which is a comprehensive metabolic panel. So that's going to test your liver function, your kidney function, pretty much just kind of like say how healthy you are. Yeah, your red blood cells, your white blood cells, your platelets, your CBC, which is going to test your complete blood counts, which is your red blood cells, your white blood cells. Sorry, I'm trying to say this entire. So the CMP is going to test your liver and your kidney function overall, and your CBC is going to check your white blood cells, your red blood cells, your platelets, your hemoglobin, and your hematocrit. Okay, so it's going to basically see the iron levels in your blood and how thick your blood is. To sum it up, to kind of put it in layman's terms for people, your PT and INR, and your PTT INR, that's going to check the thickness of your blood. It's going to check the clotting rate of your blood, how fast your blood clots, which is important. And with any pre-op procedure, they're going to ask you about that. So they're going to do an HCG, which is basically a quantitative pregnancy test. So they're going to check for the HCG hormone in your blood. They're going to check you for HIV, so you're going to check your T3 and T4 levels in your blood. They're going to make sure you don't have hepatitis. Also, if you're over 55 and you're getting the procedure, because yes, there's older women that get this done too, they're going to give you an electrocardiogram to check your heart function. Okay. Then you're going to have to go to a pre-op appointment, and they're going to go over your surgical history, your medical history, and the doctor is going to determine whether you're suitable to actually have the procedure done. So you could you'll have all that done pretty much in the same day, the blood work and the physical pre-op clearance. You get that done in the same day, and then you're going to provide them with the paperwork for the doctor to fill out, and you're going to send it back to them. And when I had that done, for whatever reason, like, they had the hardest time getting my information. So I ended up trying to send it like through my phone, like pictures of it and everything, and it didn't send very well. So it'd be best to just email. Another important thing to tell you is, when you get your emails with the information, your contact information for who you should talk to, try to make sure you're consistent with that same person that you're trying to contact, because communication there is kind of wacky. You know, you might be trying to get in touch with GOALS and get information, but you could end up actually talking to the one in New York instead of the one in Atlanta, or vice versa, depending on where you at or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So try to make sure that you have the same contact person that you keep. Find somebody that you have, and you send all your information and stuff to the same person, and try to make sure that person is local to your center. And they'll give you a list of who all and what all. But you don't always have the same person in the sense. So make it a point to have the same person for yourself, right? So alright, so I don't know, there were issues, so I think I ended up emailing and faxing it, but whatever. So I think I went to Staples and had it faxed. Alright, then your other appointment is going to be your pre-op BMI check. So they're going to check your BMI to see if it's still in range of what they expected you to be before you had your procedure. And I believe that's going to be 2 weeks before you actually have your procedure done. They'll do that, okay? And if your BMI has increased, they may even charge you extra. My BMI stayed under 30, so that I ended up keeping the same. I wasn't charged extra. Everything kind of stayed the same with that. Then there is another appointment that you have to make for COVID. You have to have your COVID test done and with results turned in before you have your procedure. And they prefer you have that done 5 days, have that information 5 days before you actually have your surgery. I mean, with the results back and everything, right? Well, I didn't do that, and that was probably where I made a mistake in. So, let me go back and say, when I went to my pre-op appointment for my BMI check, I did try to gain weight. So I think I was at 145 or 148 when I got started. By the time I went to my pre-op appointment, I was at 155. So my BMI went from a 25 to a 27. So, but as long as it was under 30, I'm just giving you that tidbit. So anyway, going back to what happened with the COVID test. I got my BMI checked and my vital signs checked, and then they asked me about my COVID test, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot. So when I had forgot to get that done, girl kind of just pulled me to the side and she was like, hey, why don't you go let your health insurance pay for that? That way you don't have to be charged $200 to get it done in office. And I was like, cool, good looking out. That did help me save my money, but what it did mess me up is when she did it like that, she didn't let me know that, she was like, you're going to have your results and everything turned in by Saturday because your surgery's going to be on Monday. And I was like, cool, bet. So I ended up, leaving and going to CVS, getting my COVID test done or whatever. I ended up getting it done for free. I didn't have, I had my insurance information with me, but I didn't have my card. So I ended up basically like filing like I didn't have insurance, and they ended up covering it for free. Because at the time, if you don't have proof, you might as well say you don't have insurance. You feel me? So, anyway, what I didn't know was they didn't even record me down as actually going to my pre-op appointment. So I didn't know I was supposed to get my pre-op meds. I didn't know that I was supposed to get my bag, post bag with all my stuff in it from pre-op. I didn't know that. I didn't know that I was supposed to have my antibiotics and all that kind of stuff for then. I didn't know that. So when I turned in all my paperwork and stuff with my results for my COVID test, I sent in an email and I left it at that. I didn't think nothing else about it. I thought that that's all I needed. They got my information. I was good to go. Well, rolls around to actual surgical date. Oh, I forgot to mention something important. There was a very crazy, embarrassing event that happened to me before I went to that pre-op appointment. And if I get 100 likes or 100 views or at least 50 subs, I will mention what happened in that video so y'all can laugh y'all asses off at me. Haters, this is your time to shine if you really want to be in my business. But yeah, if y'all do that, I will post that video about that. Something else I need to mention that is also in your paperwork that if you're not paying attention to, you won't address properly. They have a non-smoking policy, and you got to quit smoking. You can't use any tobacco products 4 to 6 weeks before your procedure, or they could charge you a $1,500 fine for smoking. Yeah. Or testing positive for tobacco. Yes, they can. They can do that. So, and that's not even smoking. Not even just with smoking tobacco. Even if you smoke weed, because your weed wraps, a lot of them contain tobacco in the wraps. So I mean, like tobacco, but not tobacco, but nicotine. Well, tobacco too possibly, but nicotine within the wraps as well. So you got to be mindful about that as well. So yeah. Keep that in mind. That also includes nicotine patches and the gum, the lozenges, because they actually have nicotine in them as well, which I didn't think about. That's where I messed up at. I didn't think about it. But I had quit smoking cigarettes, but I was using patches to help me quit. And the patches work, but they help when you set yourself an intention. You really have to make it a goal that you're committed to quitting, because they work. I have not smoked since I think I wrote the last day I smoked on here. I think the last time I smoked was actually in April. I smoked a cigarette. So it works. But in the future, if somebody else was needing to quit smoking to have this procedure done, my best tip and advice to give y'all is to see your primary care physician and see if they can give you something for smoking cessation that is not going to have nicotine in it, like Wellbutrin. And I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think Chantix does, but just double check with your physician, because I don't know that portion of it, because I took Wellbutrin before, so I know I can suggest that, but the Chantix I have not taken for myself personally, but I do hear good things about it. I do hear that it works, but then I also hear that it has crazy side effects as well, so be mindful of that. So as far as quitting though, you have to, when they say like 4 to 6 weeks before, please try your best to quit as soon as possible. Like, do not wait till the last minute, because you also got to think you are having surgery. So the healthier that you are going into the procedure is, you know, the easier your recovery process is going to be, because I'm telling you, the recovery process, it's not a joke, yo. So yeah, when I say don't be smoking, don't be trying to pollute your body with stuff, I mean that. When even after your procedure, like post-op, you're not even supposed to smoke 4 to 6 weeks after that, because it can affect your fat distribution. And if you don't have a whole lot of fat to transfer in the first place, I definitely suggest do not do that. Like, and I say that like in bold and all caps, okay? Okay, so I don't want this video to get super duper long, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off here, and then I'm gonna make a part 2 where I actually go into my actual surgical date. So stay tuned for the next one, and as always, stay just beautiful. All right, stay just beautiful, honey.